Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about Athlean X and the question, is volume killing your gains? Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, this morning, I had a client come to me with a video from Athlean X. It's about 6 months old, and I believe the title is volume killing your gains? Now, the client was a little bit confused and wanted a little bit of clarification, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. And here's why the client was confused. My client was confused. I talk a lot about in my muscle building videos that you need a reasonable amount of volume. My client looks at this Jeff Cavalier video, and it says volume is killing your gains. So the reaction is to think volume is killing your gains. That's Jeff. And the big, hairy, ugly dude says you need a reasonable amount of volume. Are we butting heads? Do we have opinions, opposing opinions? The answer is absolutely not. We are of the same mindset. We believe the exact same thing. We are on the same sheet of music, and let me explain why. When it comes to training, there is a triangle. You have volume, you have intensity, and you have frequency. When you raise one of these variables, you generally have to raise one or two of the, you have to lower one or two of the other variables. So if you raise volume, you have to lower intensity or frequency. When you raise intensity, generally you have to lower volume or frequency. Jeff in his video talks about volume and intensity, so I'm going to stick to those two variables. Volume and intensity. When you raise one, you generally have to lower the other one. What is intensity? Weight relative to your 1 rep max. But in the context of this video, we're going to talk about progressive overload as the primary mechanism that drives muscle gains. So what Jeff is talking about when it comes to volume and progressive overload is that if you believe volume is the primary muscle building mechanism, it's going to cause your focus on progressive overload to suffer. You're not going to be able to put in the same amount of effort progressing, and therefore it's going to hinder or slow down your muscle building gains. And he is absolutely 100% correct. Jeff is talking about the bros or the lifters that believe volume is the be-all, end-all. And when it comes to muscle building, it should be your complete focus in that. These guys believe if they just go into the gym and do a lot of volume, they're going to build muscle. You can't do a lot of volume and build muscle unless progressive overload is in the mix. And progressive overload has to be the primary focus because it is the primary driver when it comes to muscle building. You can't have both progressive overload, intensity, and volume pegged at 100. If your volume is just all out crazy, it's going to impact your ability to progress. That's going to bring the primary driver of muscle gains down here. If you move that mechanism back up, progressive overload, to where it needs to be, your primary focus, then your volume is going to drop a little bit. You aren't going to be able to do as much volume because your focus is on making your sets count, which is something I talk about a lot on this channel. If you are making your sets count, you only need a reasonable amount of volume. You can't go crazy on your sets, making those sets count, keeping that focus on progressive overload, and maintaining a super high volume. It's just not going to work. You're going to get tired. It's going to beat the living heck out of your body. It's not sustainable. So what I'm talking about when I say a reasonable amount of volume, not super low, 4 to 5 sets per workout. Obviously, you can't sustain it super high. So it's somewhere in the middle, a reasonable amount of volume that still allows you to keep that focus on progressive overload. That's a reason. People ask me, what does a reasonable volume mean? That's going to be different for each lifter. When your focus is on progressive overload, you're going to do a volume that allows you to continue that focus on progressive overload. It can be different for a 55-year-old lifter compared to a 20-year-old lifter. Your recovery abilities might be better at 20. You might be able to do a little bit more volume while still keeping that super focus on progressive overload. So Jeff and I are on the exact same sheet of music. Exact same sheet of music. The primary muscle building mechanism is not volume. It is progressive overload. When you go into the gym and you see these bros completely focused on volume at the expense of progressive overload. They have it backwards. You need to be focused on challenging yourself and then have a reasonable amount of volume that works in accord with progressive overload. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.